reached your limit on talking. Shut the up.
So recently, Mob Games released their final trailer for Poppy Playtime Chapter 4, and I gotta say, first impressions not looking too good. Keyword first impressions. Yeah, the trailer came out and I just genuinely kinda have mixed feelings about it. Starting off, the only new hand is the red hand, which, I mean, is just kinda lazy in my opinion. I can only assume that the purpose of bringing back the red hand is that we're gonna lose our purple and orange hand in this chapter, so therefore it makes sense for us to need a remaining hand, and they just couldn't come up with anything in particular, so we're just reusing the red hand again. In my opinion, it is criminal that we had to lose the green hand, because I actually really liked that hand. It made for unique puzzles, and now we don't have any sort of hand dedicated to that. Now, you're probably thinking, well, this could have some extra use you don't know of, right? Yeah, normally I'd agree with you there, but I somehow doubt it. I really think the whole purpose of reusing the red hand is that way when we go into, like, the final chapter, which I think might be chapter 5, so that way when we go against the prototype, I assume, we're gonna not have any of the advantages that the other hands provide, like flares, or jumping, or electricity. Now that I think about the other hands, we're kinda OP as hell. I do have a second theory, which I hope is the case, though. In the Doctor trailer, we see that there is a red hand with some sort of gray thing around it, kinda like the purple hand. My theory is the reason that we need the red hand is so that way we can apply this little gadget on top of it, so that way it gains some sort of extra power. The reason we're not able to do this for, say, the purple hand is because it already has, like, a little widget thing on it to begin with, and the orange hand just speaks for itself. As for the graphics of the trailer, it kind of looks a little bit scuffed to me. In my opinion, the graphics for Chapter 3 looked much better, and that is not something you want from an upgrade, in my opinion. This could just be After Effects for the video, but you never know. Next up, it looks like they're about to bring back the Weeping Angel enemies. So we see this kind of like Dr. Harley Sawyer clone thingamaj, whatever the hell this guy is. And as we can see, he's not moving at all. But we're also looking at him, which could imply that he's a Weeping Angel enemy, which I would absolutely hate. Something that I would much more prefer is just roaming enemies in general. Or more accurately, you're never truly safe. There's always a roaming enemy after you. I would much prefer that to be a new standard for Poppy Playtime. Imagine Poppy Playtime Chapter 3, but there is just an absurd amount of smiling critters everywhere. And I don't mean to the point where it's unplayable, no. I mean, they're like smiling critters that'll just roam about, so you have to flare them down. That would be fun as heck, but that would mean that we would have to get the flare gun sooner, so, you know, we can dream. As for the presumable new main antagonist, Doughy the Doughman, I don't like him in general. In my opinion, the name's just kinda weak. I much more prefer Pianosaurus. Actually, in my opinion, I would prefer Pianosaurus to be a main villain more than anything. Please promote this man. I can't understand for the life of me why you'd want him as the main villain, because he's practically had no prior hyping. Yarnaby, Pianosaurus, and also Harley Sawyer have had much time for prior hyping, rather than this pile of clay. It actually took me a while to think of why the hell you'd make him the main villain, and then I noticed something. On his belly is the yellow, orange, and red hand symbol. If you don't know, this symbol has been hyped up for the longest time possible. This ties a lot of things up very nicely, so I'm actually really happy about this. Although I do have a few complaints about his design. First off, it's not really scary in my opinion, in the slightest. In my opinion, the best monster toy design ever is easily Catnap. The reason I say that Catnap is the best is for two main reasons. A, his demonic sort of bigger bodies form just looks nice in my opinion. It sells the creepiness factor, and you can really tell the difference between this and the actual toy form of him. And second off, I think the toy form of him works great. I like the idea that sleeping gas ties into the fact that his toy would produce a sleeping gas as well. This is just really creative in my opinion. I also really dig with Pianosaurus's design for absolutely no reason. I just like Pianosaurus a lot. Pianosaurus is also just my favorite design for, I think, two main reasons. It's just silly in my opinion, and that's what I like about it. I also like the idea of him just being unnaturally fast. Because for most of the bigger bodies, none of them are particularly fast aside from PJ Pugapillar, but then you have a frickin' piano dinosaur that's giant as hell, and he's moving Mach 10, and I just find that really silly, and I love that. Doughy the Dough-man's not really scary at all. I'm hoping that when he does reveal his true colors, he'll, like, maybe gain teeth or something? I don't know how you'd make him look scarier, but I hope he gets scarier to begin with. In my opinion, already, without the game even being released, I already love Chapter 4's lineup of characters. Chapter 1's lineup of characters was, like, okay, I guess. You had one robot, a dinosaur, 2 cats, and a teddy bear thing. I know Huggy Wuggy's not a teddy bear, but the amount of sources that list him as a teddy bear is funny, so that's why I'm poking fun of. Chapter 2 added PJ Pugapillar, Bunzo Bunny, Daisy, and the Mommy Longlegs family, which I'd say is pretty okay if you ask me. None of these really stood out as good designs in my opinion, but I like them regardless. Chapter 3's lineup of characters absolutely sucked. You had something that wasn't even a toy to begin with, and then you just had a lineup of rip-off Care Bears. I mean, they still have killer monster designs, but you can see why I don't like this, right? And then for Chapter 4, we have a man made of dough, which is easily the weakest design. A non-toy character done well, which is pretty impressive. Pianosaurus and Yarnaby, my beloved, and a few other characters that have not been revealed yet. I also think I would have been pretty mad if the Nightmare Critters were the main antagonists. I would have definitely been mad about that, because we'd already just had a Smiling Critter, so, you know, having the Nightmare Critters as a lineup, I'm very happy with. Overall, I'm very excited for this chapter, and when it comes out, I will make a video. I also have a My Summer Car video in the production, which is gonna come out between Chapter 4 video and this video, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, I'm pretty excited. That's about all I have to say. Oh wait, there's one last thing I have to say. How many times can you change a game's Steam banner, for crying out loud? It's stupid how many times they changed it. What are you gonna put on here next, my cat?